Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Saturday Morning Coffee with Back to Basics Dog Training. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Leon. I'm the head trainer here over at Back to Basics Dog Training. And each and every Saturday morning, I bring you this live free Q&A dog training session where all your questions will be answered regarding your dog's behavior, wanted behaviors, unwanted behaviors, whatever. So like always, guys, if you're here watching me now live or later on the replay, shoot me a comment. Let me know you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from. The more comments, the more interaction I get, the more jacked up I get, and the more we're just going to keep going. So you guys pump me up, put the comments in there, and we'll get to the questions as they pop up. But as always, I start with a topic of the week. And this week is going to be a little bit more of good morning, Nelda. I hope I said that right, from Quorum. I will be talking about the grieving process that our dogs go through. Unfortunately, this week we had to put down. Good morning, Marie from upstate New York. I miss you guys. We had the displeasure of having to put down one of our cat Tiki this week. He was 15 years old. He lived a great life, and we're in the process of mourning and celebrating Tiki. But what I want to talk about is how our dogs go through the same process as we go through. Dogs grieve when a member of their pack leaves. And that could be leaving because of an unfortunate passing, or it could be leaving because of an unfortunate marriage or whatever. Dogs understand that something's off, and it's how we handle those situations that are going to help our dogs move forward. So Wednesday, when we had to make this decision with Tiki, I started looking for changes. Good morning, Nancy. Looking for changes in Zoe's behavior. And what I noticed her doing is looking around, trying to find out where her buddy was. Kind of almost zoned out, if you can visualize that, like she wasn't sure what was going on. Of course, the energy in the house was sad. She's reading the energy, and she didn't know what to do. And it's my job as her pack leader to let her go through the process of grieving, but also move her past the process of grieving. So my role was to let her try to figure things out on her own, let her understand the energy in the house, because we were not happy about any of this, and then move her forward by keeping to the same daily routines that we always did with her, and we always do with her, and not feed into the oh my God, Tiki's gone, you're going to miss him and all this type of stuff. Not feed into that where she was in her grieving state of mind. Yes, I'm going to let her go through the process. Yes, she's going to look around for her buddy. But my job is, again, to move her forward. And that's what we've been doing. We've been moving her forward. We still go for our multiple walks per day. We still treat her the same way. And when she's often looking, she's often looking. She does go over to Samantha quite often and try to find, to comfort her, which is part of her job. She comes over to my wife. She comes over to me. She tries to figure out why our energy is a little off. And it's helping her move forward. So even though interspecies, cat, dog, it's still a part of her pack that is missing now. And she's going through it, and it's okay for her to go through. Good morning, Lisa. And we're allowing her to go through the process, but without babying the process, if that makes sense, guys. And I know that sounds cold and it sounds callous, but if I put my emotions into her, I'm not helping her. And that's my job. That's my role in life. I want to help dogs move forward no matter what they went through in their past or what they're going through in their present, because we live in the moment. And it's unfortunate this happened, but we're going to move forward. So I wanted to start the conversation with this week. Today's Saturday morning coffee is dedicated to the memory of Tiki, um, who was part of my pack and will be sorely missed, but we're going to celebrate his life. I did change up something, guys, just so you know. Anybody who's on the Remember Me Rescue Facebook page that's watching, in the upper, I think it's the right-hand corner, is a QR code that will take you to my Facebook page. If somebody can do me a favor and test it, let me know if it works. Scan it with your phone or whatever. Good morning, Phyllis. Scan it with your phone. Just let me know it does take you to my Facebook page, that I did it right, because this modern technology is boo to me. So we're going to talk about some things that I dealt with this week. And again, if somebody just shoots that QR code and let me know if it works or not, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, Lisa. So a couple of things I've been involved with this week is I had last week I had a great session. If you guys remember, I said I had to get ready, prepared for a session afterwards where we took a 7-8 month old boxer puppy out into a dog park area around here. Typical boxer, high energy, that needed to have exposure therapy, for a lack of better words, to get to know people, get to see other dogs, and learn how to behave in these public settings. And I brought Zoe with me, and Zoe did phenomenal. She was dealing with this puppy's energy, plus other dogs' energy, plus people's energy, and I used her to help to communicate to Tico, the boxer, a better way to react with all this extra stimulus, because Zoe does not react on leash with other dogs, with people. If I keep the leash short like you're supposed to when you're in a public area, she knows she's not supposed to go over to greet people, go to smell other dogs. Her job is we're traveling, we're doing something. That's her job. So in the beginning, it took Tico a little bit to get into it. I mean, everything was overexcited. I mean, there were kids running around. There was a playground there, so there's a lot of screaming and carrying on. And there were other dogs there, not as many as I would like. I would like to have had him exposed to a lot more dogs. But what we noticed is when we met up, we walked around and we passed the dog park. And when we passed the dog park, Tico was very excited. All these dogs are in there. I see somebody, it looks like somebody scanned the QR code. Thank you. Let me know if it worked, if it took you to my Facebook page. That would be greatly appreciated. When we first passed the dog park, Tico got excited. There were other dogs in there. They're running around. They're playing. They're doing a lot of things. And he was like, I got to get over there. And we did some slight corrections. We're using a simple slip leash. Nothing fancy here, guys. No tools. No, actually, we do use an e-collar as well with him. But our first goal is always use the leash to correct him. And he did phenomenal. He passed. He was excited. But what I noticed when we were passing the dog park area, I had somebody else walking with handling Zoe for me so I can focus on my customer. Tico realized that Zoe wasn't reacting to those dogs in the dog park. And it kind of, you can see the switch. Oh, okay, this is how I'm supposed to be. So Zoe's energy became very powerful for Tico. So we continued our walk, and Tico's being a typical puppy. I mean, not necessarily healing, but he was creating a lot of pressure on the leash. So I changed it up, and I took Zoe and I took Tico, and I started walking them together. First, one on one side, one on the other side. And then I was like, okay, Tico's still not getting it the way I want him to get it. So I actually brought them together where I had them side by side. And then Tico got it. Oh, this is how I'm supposed to react. By feeding off and observing Zoe and Zoe's energy with all these distractions, Tico started understanding. And I hope this makes sense, guys, because that's how important our energy is. You guys hear me talk about our energy all the time, but here it is on a primal level. Dog's energy with a dog. Of course, my energy handling a leash. I had no hesitation to put them together. I was, excuse me, calm and confident when I did it, and put them side by side, both on my in one hand on the leash. I position it so I can make corrections to whichever dog I need to make corrections to, and we walked together. And QR code works, takes us right to you. Yes, thank you, Phyllis. I appreciate that. So again, anybody on the Remember Me Rescue, just for not saying go away from Remember Me Rescue, but just so you have an easier way to communicate with me, if you scan that QR code, find my page, follow, like it, whatever it is. This way you can message me directly if you have any questions, or you wanted me to use a question you have for my topic of the week, or when I'm going to start posting out more videos, I'm going to be predominantly posting on Back to Basics, of course. I always share everything I do with Remember Me Rescue, because I think what I do helps multiple dogs, and Michelle does a great job with the rescue. So anything I can do to help there, I'm going to, of course, help. What I'm excited is when I go to New York, when I'm working with this dog that does resource guarding, I'm going to film the whole entire process, and you guys are going to see raw, uncut results. I'm also going to be streaming those live, some of those training sessions. There's not going to be any warning. It's just going to pop up there. Of course, you guys can always watch it on the replay, because I need you guys to see this dog that has the resource guarding. If handled right, we can eliminate these unwanted behaviors. So anyway, we talked about the energy of Zoe. And the other thing I want to talk about, there's been a lot of bickering. I don't know how many of you guys follow different trainers on Facebook. And that's fine, because I follow different trainers on Facebook, because I learn what to do. Maybe there's a different way I can do something, or learn something I just don't even want to implement. But I do follow other, but there's a lot of bickering going on right now between the different methodologies of training. And there are multiple methodologies of training. You have positive reward trainers. You have the scientific based trainers that say it's scientifically proven, this, that, and that, and the other thing. And then you got balance trainers, which is what I consider myself. And then you got trainers that I think go to the old school alpha mentality, where I need to dominate the unwanted behavior. First of all, if you are looking to hire a trainer, find one that fits you and your energy and your needs and what you want. If you want to do fully positive reward, everything is based on treats, that's fine. I have no issues with that. Do I believe it's the right methodology? Not necessarily, depending on the issue. There are some issues where treats are great. But my problem being is when these people start becoming very opinionated, they can confuse our viewers. So, I've been following them. I try to stay out of this nonsense, because that's what it is. But I am going to speak about it. I'm not going to mention any trainers' names. But we have one trainer who's probably the most viewed trainer on YouTube, Facebook, probably TikTok, and all those other things, who believes that everything in this world can be solved by giving treats and not doing any forms of discipline to our dogs. They say that, in his opinion and in his studies, that discipline on unwanted behaviors doesn't fix the problem, it just masks the problem. And I'm sorry, I will disagree with that. If you watch dogs naturally correct each other and work with each other, they discipline each other. It's how we go about disciplining them. And the dog, in the case that everybody's going back and forth with, was an extremely terrified dog. And this dog was just completely terrified, to the point where its fear made it an aggressive dog. And the trainer that he used as the example put a simple slip leash on the dog, and the dog threw a full-blown 1,000% temper tantrum. I did have an issue with that, because while the dog was throwing a temper tantrum, the trainer was making leash corrections and saying no to the temper tantrum. I don't think that way was right. Then we have the guy who is trying to say this guy is, and to me, guys, let me set this straight, just so everybody knows where I stand. If a dog is throwing a temper tantrum and you discipline it with a leash correction, you are, in my opinion, abusing the state of mind, which means you're abusing the dog. That's just my opinion. Okay. So the other trainer said, well, when I deal with scared dogs, I just give hot dogs, and I don't care if I have to give hot dogs for 6 hours to build the trust of the dog. I don't agree with that either. I don't think that builds trust. I think it just makes overweight dogs personally. So somebody tagged me in these things, and I kept it very private. I didn't say anything, and they asked me how I would handle it. So I'm going to tell you guys how I would handle this. I would do the same thing the gentleman did. I would get my slip leash out because it gives me more control. And when the dog threw the temper tantrum, I would 1000% let the dog throw its temper tantrum. I will move it to a grassy area where it doesn't get hurt, because when they throw temper tantrums, they can get hurt. I'm going to go with them. I'm going to ride out the wave. And then when they stop the temper tantrum, I'm going to be like, good. But I'm not going to say a word while they throw the temper tantrum. What I'm going to do is to actually try to stay as calm can be. I'll get into my Zen mode and let them go through it. And the importance of that is, to me, that's building a trust. Hey, I threw a temper tantrum. I tried biting the leash. I tried biting you, maybe. I did all the stuff, but me, stayed calm. That builds trust. Food doesn't always build trust. Discipline doesn't build trust. And in that state of mind, what builds trust is understanding you're allowed to throw this temper tantrum. And when you're all said and done, I'm still going to try to help you move past this in a calm, confident way. And, this thing's going to go back and forth, and they're going to be bashing each other, and they can go through all the childish bull crap they want. But what I'm here to do is not set the record straight, but tell you there's other ways to do things. And I do believe wholeheartedly that my 4 C's of dog training, calm, confidence, consistency, to get the control that you want, works every single time. Not 95% of the time, not 99% of the time, 100% of the time. Dogs respond to energy. The way I look at it, for these people that are with a scientific mindset, if the dogs are left in nature, they're not going to get food or treats when they do something the pack leader wants it to do. They're not going to get, if they're scared, a ton of hot dogs to build the trust. The pack leader's going to move them past it. They will use their body language and energy to explain to the dog that that's the wrong behavior. We can do that. And that's why I talk about energy as often as I talk about energy, because the energy is the best communication tool, bar none. So guys, in the comments, whoever's still watching, please let me know if this makes sense. And like I said, I'm not knocking the other training methodologies, because they all work to a point. What guy A says, well, if you do discipline, it's a Band-Aid. Guy 2, I think, is just way too heavy-handed, and he's going for that alpha mentality. What I want people to do is try to come up in the middle somehow. And the middle is stop using your words when you have an unwanted behavior. Use your energy to communicate better. If your dog shows separation anxiety, I've seen videos of people saying you can discipline a dog for showing separation anxiety. I don't agree with that. There's other ways to do it, which is to build the dog's confidence to say, it's okay, you're safe on your own, I'm allowed to leave, but there's ways to do it. And, I know all the different methods, give them a Kong, stuff it with stuff so they have something to be occupied. But what happens when that's gone and you're not back? Whoa! Sorry, my chair thing let loose. It was almost like a little mini earthquake here. I hope I didn't spill my coffee. I didn't. Okay, good. Um, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, so you give the Kong to a dog that has separation anxiety, and what happens when they get all the peanut butter out of the Kong and you're still not home? Now what do they do? So that's not teaching them to self-soothe, to calm down. But if I sat there and you guys know I have no problem saying it. I do believe in the use of e-collars if used properly, but I wouldn't sit there on a video feed watching my dog have a dog who has separation anxiety and using an e-collar to make corrections, because I don't think that's fair. Sorry guys, I'm just fixing what I just made a mess. Is fair to the dog. The dog has to understand calm energy. That's how they learn to self-soothe. So when I deal with dogs with separation anxiety, when we leave, we just leave. We don't say a word. We leave, walk out with calm confidence. Absolutely, Phyllis. Phyllis says it great here. I have a very fearful dog, and when he reacts outdoors, I wait him out, praise him when he's calm, and then move him forward. Beautiful, Phyllis. That is fantastic. And your energy is the best communicator. If your dog is fearful and you're saying no to the fear, because and I've had this debate with human therapists, psychiatrists. In my opinion, we have this term irrational fear. And many people will look at their dogs who have fears of certain things outside and say, well, it's an irrational fear. No, in their mind, it's real, so it's not irrational. I really don't like that term irrational fear. And I don't use that term irrational fear. Sorry, I just got to adjust this since I had my little spasm there. Okay. It's a real fear to whoever's going through it. I'm not afraid of heights, so somebody who's afraid of heights, is that an irrational fear? Well, to me, maybe it is, but to them, it's real. So who the hell am I to say? So when I deal with dogs with separation anxiety, what I do is first we make sure everything is calm before we even think about walking out the door. And literally, I'll walk out the door, close the door, turn around, come back. We're home. Oh, wait, you went out, you came back. That wasn't bad. I survived that because we started off calm. And then, maybe 3 seconds I'm out there. And then maybe the next time it's 5 seconds and 10 seconds and a minute. And then, I build up so they understand. I go out, I come back. But it has to start with a calm state of mind. If I see the dog is watching us and following us because it looks like they're ready to leave, I won't leave. I won't leave because then their state of mind is not calm. So how am I going to get them to get to that self-soothing stage? I have to be with them to teach them. So there's ways to do things, guys. And there's those scientific-based trainers. There's those veterinarian trainers that believe in medication. And then you got the alpha mentality. Balance is exactly that. Mother Nature works on a balance. Why can't we? And that's coming up with a solution to help your dogs move forward. And that starts with my 4 C's of dog training: calm, confidence, consistency, to get control. So I'm not getting a lot of questions this week, guys. Come on, pump me up here. I'm starting to feel like I'm fading on you. Shoot me some questions so I can help you. Otherwise, we'll talk for a few more minutes and then we'll wrap it up until Tuesday evening. And again, remember, guys, every Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we have happy hour with Back to Basics Dog Training, where, again, I'm here live and in living color to answer all your dog training needs. But if there's no other questions, I guess we're going to wrap it up early this weekend. I do have a 1 o'clock session, so that works out pretty good for me. I get to chill out a little bit. So we're going to wrap it up, guys, unless there's a question. You got a couple more, 30 seconds here or more to get questions out to me. Or just give me a status report on anything I've helped you with your dogs. Shoot it in the comments. And if you're watching later on in the replay, shoot me a comment. With that being said, guys, I've noticed that when I leave Trixie, that after I come home, she gets bitey. Okay, so our dogs get excited when we come home. I got a videotape Zoe one day for you guys when Marcy comes home. It's freaking hysterical. She doesn't do it to me. She does it to Marcy. Um, it's how you react to it. Again, you're their pack leader. They're excited to see you. Zoe is excited to see me, but she knows I'm not going to tolerate the overexcitement. So they know who they can get away with, like kids. So if that's the case, Nancy, what I would do again when you walk in with calm confidence. And what I tell people to do is not turn your back on the dog. Don't ignore the dog's behavior. Is when you come in, you shut the door, put your back against the door, and just stand there very upright, very calm. Remember to breathe. And then when she's no, and then you wait her out till you see the switch. You will see it. How long it takes, I don't know. How long it takes for you compared to me is probably a whole hell of a lot different. And I'm going to give you guys a story because that actually reminded me of something that I worked on this week. So this will be good for you guys. It's the excitement. And again, she's going through this journey of training. She's going through this journey of learning how to be calm because she's an excitable little girl. And again, the walk. Okay, but afterwards so Nancy, that's great. I don't know if you guys see the comment, but Nancy says, I usually walk in, let her out of her playpen area. If you let her out of her playpen area while she's excited, you're saying it's okay to be excited. She's becoming obedient where she'll wait to be pet, but the state of mind is still excited. So you need to use threshold management and don't let her out of her playpen area when she's excited. She needs to come out of that playpen area like a lady. That's the state of mind. And then when she does, pet her instantly. And at any time she gets a little too excited, we stop the process. But don't let her out of that playpen excited because that's where we're losing it. So I'm glad that helped. Nancy says, I usually walk in. Oh, wrong person. Sorry, Nancy, I answered your question. Phyllis says, I do want your recommendation when Junior gets fearful. Is there anything else I can do to help him? Well, the biggest thing you can do when Junior gets fearful is you become calm. Don't worry about why he's becoming fearful. Don't worry about what is fearful. If there's nothing and you know everything is safe, you're allowed to just make him work through it. So every time I deal with a fearful dog, regardless what it is, I had a dog that was afraid of leaves falling. I would just stop the process, always check myself, breathe in the roses, blow out the candles, give him another job to sit, and get him to learn to look to you for guidance. So one of the games, I don't know if he looks at you for guidance when he's fearful, because a lot of dogs have a hard time with that. So what you can do is while you're in the house, when everything is good, and this is one of the things I do use treats for, is work on a focus game with them and use a word or sound, focus or whatever, look at me, whatever you want to say. And you put the treat by your eye if he's food motivated because he's not fearful in the house. Focus, good. And then you hold the treat out here. Focus, good. When he looks here, not when he looks at the treat. And eventually you're going to hold the tree further and further out, put it behind your back. The word focus is like the word sit. It's an obedience command. Focus. Good. So then what you can do when you're out on the walk and he becomes fearful, because you need him to look at you for guidance. You need him to look at you to help him read your energy. And then, so I'm walking him, he becomes fearful. Junior, sit, focus. Good. And really do the good in a very calming way, not the excited way. It's almost like when we say easy to a dog, we always do easy. So when I deal with fearful dogs, I use my good as an easy command. Good. And my energy is truly feeling it. And then again, if you want, you can give a treat once he focuses on you so he can learn, not fearful and very food motivated. Yeah, work on the focus game. Focus game is fun, guys, because, because I'm an idiot. I do it here. Like I said, I start with it by my eye because that's where I need them to look. And then I move it out. I put it behind my back. And then I'll start spinning around. I'll do different things. But the object is the dog needs to look at me. Now I know I have your attention. And then at first your timing's got to be good. Focus, boom. As soon as they look. Focus, boom, good. And then eventually it's focus. Make them hold it. Good. If that makes sense. While we're walking and there are things like construction equipment working nearby, for example, we stop. I stay calm. Yeah. And wait for a while until Trixie is bored with it. And that seems to be working well. That's fine. If it's working, it's working. Guys, just because I say this is how I would do it, if it works for you, as long as you're getting to the state of mind, boredom is a calmer state of mind than that we don't want. If it works for you, do it. I like my slip leashes. I think they're the best tool ever invented. But a lot of people like the gentle leader. It gives them more confidence. It works for them. Who am I to say otherwise? So if it works for you, do it. If it works for Trixie, do it. Just use what works. That's the beauty of this. That's communicating with your dog. You're still not moving while they're excited or fearful. We're moving. You're bored. Okay. Boredom is almost that state of calm. So work with it. But I do want to tell you a story how energy is so important to dogs. And this was great. I'm working with another pup, about a year and a month old, Pity Mix, super high energy. Oh my Lord, this dog is. And he's learning. She's learning. She's going on this journey with us. She's learning. She's a much better walker, starting to respect stairs because she was a bull in a china shop going up and down stairs. She'd kill anybody on the stairs accidentally. So it's a real slow process. One of the complaints the owner had when I was there this week was in the backyard, even though my suggestion to him is still continue to do structure for the calmness in the backyard, but he does let his dog off leash in the backyard, and the dog, once it's off leash in the backyard, gets the zoomies. I mean, this dog just goes batty, and I witnessed it. And then the problem is as he's running, he's grabbing things off the ground. She's grabbing things off the ground, eating them, chewing them, and there's certain things that the dog shouldn't have. So he was like, I need to control this. And he explained to me his process, and his process was a lot of verbal, a lot of chasing. And I'm like, first of all, you're not going to catch him. He's too fast. She's too fast. So what I did is I showed him. We were out there. We started off everything calm. So it took the dog a little bit to get to that state of mind where, okay, I'm free. Yay. And then what I did is I didn't run. I just cut angles. I walked with an angle. I always keep my arms outstretched. And after about 2 or 3 laps, and she wasn't getting the same result that she normally was get, which is dad playing the game. She stopped. So as she stopped, I slowly walked towards her. Never sit. All I asked her to do was sit. And you can see the mind was like, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? I got about 4 feet away, and she was like, oh, okay, he's coming closer. He's going to chase me. And I just turned around. She took off, and I went back to the same routine. About 2 minutes later, she got to another area, and I walked towards her slowly because she had stopped. And I said to sit again. This time you can actually see the butt start to go down. And then when I got about 2 feet from her, she took off again. Okay. But that time she took off, she ran about 20 feet from me, stopped in the middle of the yard, looked at me. I walked slowly, said, sit. Very quiet, very soft, very calm energy. She sat as I walked towards her. And then when I got about 2.5 feet away from her, she actually laid over and gave me her belly. I was able to put the leash on her calmly. She didn't protest. She didn't run from me putting the leash on. And those are all the things that would normally happen. He'd get her, and then try to put the leash on her, and she would run or pull or just be playing, really. And I showed him within less than 5 minutes, we were able to control that excitement without saying any other word but sit, and only saying sit when she physically stopped moving. And I only said it once each time. My energy became my tool because I didn't have a leash on her. So my energy is, and I say this week in, week out, guys, in my tool bag that I bring to every single job, the best tool in there is my energy. And that's how it can work. So if I see, and I did it with the same dog. We were walking, and the landscapers, for whatever reason, got this dog excited. I put myself between the landscapers and the dog and used my body language and my energy to calm the dog down. So even on a fearful dog, your body language makes a difference. When you deal with fearful dogs, too many people go like this and they slouch down. No, stand taller because you're calm and you're confident. Same thing with the construction equipment. You know, if it's the excitement or the fear or the noise or the workers running around, your body language, your energy is going to make the difference. And that's the 3C's: calm, confidence, consistency, control. Guys, I hope this makes sense. Phyllis and Nancy, thank you for bringing that up because it actually reminded me of what I wanted to talk about this week, but we had a little bit of an interruption, unfortunately, with Tiki. So, like I said, this episode is dedicated to Tiki. Even as a cat, he taught me a lot. So, with that being said, guys, we're going to wrap it up. I do have a 1 o'clock session I got to get myself prepared for mentally. But we will be live again Tuesday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So, Nancy, Phyllis, anybody else who was watching, let me know how it goes Tuesday night. Tell me how things worked out for you. If, the focus game worked for you, Phyllis. Nancy, you're just keep going on the right pace. Hopefully, you and Trixie can have that happy, balanced life you guys want together, and that's what it's about. So, with that being said, guys, I am going to wrap it up for the weekend. Thank you, Phyllis. We're going to wrap it up for the weekend. Be live again Tuesday night. As always, thank you for inviting me to your homes each and every Saturday morning. It is truly an honor and a privilege to be here with you, and you guys to block out some time to listen to the Big Ugly Guy ramble. As always, stay healthy, stay safe. God bless, and remember, together we can help one dog and one family at a time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. We'll see you Tuesday night.